Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In a shocking turn of events, Uhuru Kenyatta is said to be supporting Raila Amolo Odinga's candidature. Uhuru Kenyatta is said to be meeting delegations at his Ishaweri home in Gatodo of Kiambu County. And from our reliable sources, Ishaweri is a beehive of activity. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has been meeting delegations from all walks of life, from all corners of the country, with one agenda, which is shocking in my view, that Kenyans should support Raila Amolo Odinga to succeed William Samoei Ruto, that Kenyans should vote for Raila Amolo Odinga to be the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And contrary to popular belief that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has been fronting or voting for Matiang'i, close sources says it is not the case. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at the reason why Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta decided or has decided to throw his weight behind Raila Amolo Odinga, who is a bit advanced in age, who has actually stabbed at the presidency. In 1997, he tried and he came, I think, number 4. 2007, it was contested and it is not even known whether he won or lost. Then 2013, 2017, 2022, then the 6th time. Why would he try this time round? Because if you ask me, the best thing for Raila Amolo Odinga is to retire and support a youthful candidate or somebody who is competent, whoever that person is. Ladies and gentlemen, according to me, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is continuing with the 2022 battle. William Samoei Ruto won the battle, but he is yet to win the war. That is the truth of the matter. There's a difference between the war and the battle. And I think Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta strongly believe that William Samoei Ruto did not win the elections. He strongly believes that Raila is the person who was supposed to win the election. So according to me, this is continuation of that war. Number 2, in my view, he wants to humiliate the president. He wants to humiliate him by snatching the presidency and giving it to Raila Amolo Odinga. This is what I would call sweet revenge. Because all said and done, why not another candidate? Because I think Kalonzo is now more popular than Raila Amolo Odinga. Freddy Matiang'i and Maraga are more popular than Raila Amolo Odinga as far as things are. So by choosing Raila, the only person who can actually cause more pain to William Samoei Ruto when he loses, it is Raila Amolo Odinga. Others ataona tu ni mambo ya kawaida. But for Raila defeating him, it is something that is significant politically speaking. Number 3, I think Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta strongly believes in Raila. Yeah, and he trusts him. There are those people whom you believe in. Unasema huyu, I can trust him. So I think this man can work for the country. Maybe by choosing Raila Amolo Odinga, maybe there's something that he sees in Raila Amolo Odinga that we cannot see. Let me ask you. Unajua watu wanaweza kuona mengi. Igawa katika one of the proverbs in Kikuyu is that an old man can see very far away, even compared to a boy who is on the top of a tree. So Uhuru is that man sitting on a traditional African stool, and he can see very far away. So there's something that he sees in Raila. Maybe we cannot see it. Remember, he could see the presidency of William Samoei Ruto, but many Kenyans will not see it. today many people are neglecting. Number 3, in my view, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta wants to continue with his legacy. I think he can have a lot of influence if Raila is the president. These guys are close. When they were young, they were close. Their fathers were in government. The first vice president of the Republic of Kenya was Raila's father. And the president is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's father. So these guys, it is old friendship. When I look at them, it is very, very clear that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta strongly believe that Raila can actually continue with Uhuru's legacy. The other reason, if you ask me, I think this idea of extrajudicial killing, this idea of youth being abducted, is something that is hurting to everybody. It has caused a lot of pain. And so when you look at Raila Odinga, I've always said this about Raila Odinga. I don't think Raila Odinga can support extrajudicial killing. I don't think Raila Odinga can support abductions. I don't think his government can do this kind of things. Waswahili wanasema mugale muwe na haki mpe. Maybe Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is looking for somebody who can actually be mindful, who can have empathy, who can sympathize with the Gen Z, who can understand the Gen Z. You know, Raila ni kama babu yao, ya hawa vijana wa Gen Z. And maybe this is what is making Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to propose his name. The other thing, in my view, is the numbers. You know, Raila just needs to endear himself here and there. Although you have said that he's not as popular today as he was, and we agree with this, it is easier for Raila to regain the lost ground. Very easy, by the way. He just needs to play his cards right. And I also think, because he has numbers, he starts with something in his hand. And because he has been tested and tried, I think this is what maybe Uhuru is saying. The other thing, in my view, is because when you look at other candidates, like Matiang'i, who is very promising, who comes from the Omogusi community, there is also a Malwa, who comes from the Murebe Nation, and maybe others. It is very easy for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to convince these two leaders, especially, to be in Raila Amolo Odinga's government. And that is what maybe Uhuru wanted initially. Maybe wanted Baba to be just the figurehead, but the team that will work with him to be very, very strong team. And Matiang'i, here I can see maybe Matiang'i be convinced to maybe his deputy. It is very, very much possible. Wamalwa is a very close ally, very close friend of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. These are people who have eaten meals together. Wamekunywa kimvinyo pamoja na wamefurahia, wamebugia pamoja na huwa wanafurahi. So it is easier to convince these guys to support Raila and have a very strong team. The other thing is that I think this issue of Mount Kenya, the control of Mount Kenya votes, as the situation is now, Gachagua is calling the shots. If you ask me, Gachagua seems to be the person who is controlling the mountain. The mountain seems to be agreeing with Rigathi Gachagua. And Rigathi Gachagua is likely to tell them, maybe you support Matiang'i or you support Kalonzo. And Kenyans, especially those who come from Mount Kenya, and the votes are huge. So by Uhuru trying to stamp his authority, I think he's telling Kenyans that he's not comfortable with Rigathi Gachagua. The battle of Mount Kenya is here with us again. Because what happens is that if DCP is going to have the majority of members of parliament, and these include senators and governors and MCAs, I think Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta should forget the politics of this country. I think Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta does not want to retire. Hata hivyo, tuseme nini? Kwamba najua wazee wameona mengi. Ukiona mwanamume ana mvi kichwani ni ishara ya busara, kama alivyosema Shaban Muhammad. I don't know what you think, but that is my take. Have a blessed evening. Bye-bye.